Hey guys, welcome back. Santy Biggs is here. He's here to help you guys, help you out with those last minute ideas, last minute gift shopping ideas. This year, we're going to talk about the top 5 gifts to get that tarantula keeper in your life. Alright guys, if you've got a hobbyist in your house that keeps one tarantula, we all know how much of a dangerous slope, a slippery slope that's going to be. Eventually you're going to have to assume and expect that they're going to have more than one tarantula. One tarantula becomes 2, 2 become 5, and it snowballs from there. Nothing better than showing your support for them by getting them a nice thoughtful gift, knowing full well where it's going to be. So number 1 on my list of top 5 unique gifts, they're not in any order whatsoever. These are just 5 things that I thought of, or things that I use almost daily, or things that are instrumental in expanding my hobby and doing things with my hobby to making the taking care of them a lot easier. They're not in any order whatsoever. They're just 5 things. So number 1 is this little beauty right here. It's a nice little tiny soldering iron. They're inexpensive. I don't care if you can adjust the heat or can't adjust the heat. It comes with a nice little pointed tip. And the ideal thing about them is for doing these little things when you're making your ventilation on your containers. If you're not a tarantula keeper, this doesn't sound like anything important to you whatsoever, and it probably isn't, other than maybe they can do some small household repairs. Maybe they can burn the place down. Don't really know. But to a tarantula keeper, using different types of containers, variety of containers, being able to put quick ventilation holes quickly, safely for the animals as well as for you is an invaluable tool. These type items can be found online, ordered through mail order for probably under $10 to $20. They're inexpensive and they're a super valuable tool to the tarantula keeper. Now number 2, when you start building up a collection, you start getting lots and lots of tarantulas, lots of baby tarantulas, we call them slings. You're going to need all sorts of different things. And one of them that's critical is good quality supply of water dishes. Now, you can go to the pet store, and I encourage you to go to your pet store and support them. This is one dish that I absolutely love. It's from a company, I believe, comes out of the UK. I just like it because it's brown. You've seen in most of my videos, a lot of the water dishes I use are recycled 2-liter bottle caps and recycled 4-liter milk jug caps. But one thing that I find absolutely instrumental, and it's super inexpensive, is you can order them online, are what they sell in the industry for tattoo industry. You can see I'm no stranger to that. And they're called tattoo ink cups. They come in many different sizes. And they're mainly a polyethylene little tiny cup. They're completely disposable. They're rigid, so they're perfect for holding water. And they're health safe, so they're fine for your animal for potable water. But they're perfect little tiny things. And all of these, 100 of each size, I've got 300 here. This was under $10 or $12 Canadian. So we're talking absolute pennies. Awesome thing, especially if you're going to be expanding your collection. Very invaluable tool. So that's number 2. Now number 3 is a unique item that most of you in the arachnid tarantula keeping hobby may not know what it is. It's an item that's sold for aquascaping aquariums. You guys, if you follow me on my Mad Aquarius page, you know that I also do all sorts of things with aquariums as well. Now one of those tools is this little tool here. And this little tool is generally used in the aquascaping, when you're setting up a beautifully aquarium, for basically moving the gravel around and basically forming it the way you want it to be. But I find this aquascaping tool, which is available either online or is available through most of your local pet shops, and I encourage you to shop local, it's absolutely indispensable for when I'm trying to rehouse a tarantula. I was just rehousing a couple of the hatties the other day, a couple of fossorial species that were deep burrows, and they were down this far. This made it invaluable and safe that I could reach into there and tease out the media without disturbing the tarantula and doing it safe distance. This is an absolutely invaluable tool. So this is number 3. Number 4, I don't have a prop to show you, but number 4 is what I call a cricket card. If you support one of your local stores regularly, and that's where you buy your feeder insects for all your animals, they'll often have what's called a cricket card. And a cricket card is basically you're buying a large amount of crickets all at once. So like 100 crickets, 200 crickets, 500 crickets, whatever you want. It's often at a greatly discounted price because you're paying for it all in one shot. And then you take that cricket card in anytime you want, and they will just tick off how many crickets you bought at the time without having to pay for it. So basically, you're taking your partner out for dinner, but it's the dinner for the tarantulas. So automatically, number 4 is cricket cards. Number 5 is absolutely indispensable. No matter if you got 1, you got 1,000, it doesn't matter, and that is a label maker. This happens to be my wife's label maker that she uses for her business, and she unwillingly lets me use it occasionally to print off labels. I use this type of label maker, but you can get all sorts of more economical label makers. This one hooks up to the computer and you do everything in a program. She uses it day in, day out for her work. But even one of those little tiny click ones and stuff like that just prints out the little piece of tape, they're absolutely indispensable when you have a large collection of lots of them. I also like supporting a local artist, or not necessarily a local artist to me, but an artist that I found online in making these beautiful labels. And you can buy individual labels. If you only got 5, 6 tarantulas, I think this gives a nice little finishing touch to the enclosures. So that is number 5. Now, 5 sounds like a pretty arbitrary number, but that's just what I came up with. I came up with 5, but in making the list, of course, I had extra ones. So I've got a couple of honorable mentions, and I think these ones actually kicked up right up to the top. They're probably more important than any of this tangible stuff. Number 1 is maybe a handwritten note from your spouse or partner encouraging you in your hobby. It might be a bit of a far stretch for some, but still a nice little gesture nonetheless. And lastly, and probably very, very most importantly, if you're into this type of hobby, if you're into keeping aquariums, it doesn't really matter what your passion is, but if you're keeping any of these type of animals and stuff like that, support your local stores. Even if it's just buying your feeder insects or buying those little dishes that I showed you, getting your nice enclosures there for your beautiful show animals, support your local stores. They need you now more so than ever. Not just your local stores, but if you have an online source, that's a small business, an online source where you're accessing your animals, that is an absolutely invaluable source. Support them as well. So with that, my friends, hope you enjoyed. That was the top 5 this year, top 5 unique little gifts that you might not think of. That might be perfect little items for the arachnid keeper in your life. So with that, my friends, I wish you absolutely all the absolute best for the holidays. Merry Christmas, happy holidays, all the best. We'll see you next time in 2022.